This is SAGAS.
What's going on, everybody? This is Corbin, the Serpentine Skipwith, and I'm here with a very special guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Fotis Benardo. I'm a drummer, guitarist, musician, everything, producer, and I'm based in Greece, in the sunny Greece. And I salute everyone.
Cool. Thank you again for taking time out to be on my podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. So, starting from the start, when did you first start to love music? When did you start appreciating and wanting to play music for yourself?
Playing music, it was around 12 years old or 13 years old, but 8 or 9 years old, I started listening to, trash of Alice Cooper and Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses. So that got me into it, into rock music, into heavy stuff. And so I really was attracted by this kind of music and this kind of sound. So I really want to explore even more. So since I lived from the early years with my brother and we grew up together, we tend to, bring stuff to the table and bring, new music to the table. So my brother was bringing some thrash bands. I was bringing also, he was bringing Sodom. I was bringing Anthrax. And we started listening to Maiden, Metallica, and everything else. And around 11 years old, something like that, I think I grabbed my first guitar and started to do stuff. I had also a keyboard playing some stuff, and I really was attracted by music and tried to mimic these bands that I loved. That's the first, let's say the kickstart.
Yeah. Do you remember the first album you ever owned?
That I owned? I think it was Trust from Alice Cooper. It was the first one that I bought.
Yeah. Nice, very classic stuff.
Of course, maybe 7 or 8 years old, I had the Michael Jackson stuff, but that was from my mother. The one that I got with my own money that I really wanted to buy something, I think it was Alice Cooper. Trash, yeah, for sure.
Growing up, were your parents or your mom, were they accepting of the metal sound, the rock sound, or did they think it was?
My family status was not that good. I didn't have really, that, let's say, ordinary family, let's say. So I wasn't lucky enough on this part having my parents on the home, but I was with my brother. So we grew up together. I know that it sounds weird to somebody out there, but for me, it was a luck. And I will explain why. Because since I was 10, my brother was 13, we were living on our own. We had only some, our parents, my father coming home just to leave some money so we can make a living from this. And what we did is try to buy albums, and the leftovers of the money, let's say, the money that was left, it was about buying some, pasta or something really cheap so we can buy more albums. So this was a good thing for me because I grew up by doing exactly what I wanted. I was going into concerts without having anyone, telling me not to go. I was playing music, doing, being athletic and doing, sports. So I didn't get into drugs. That was the good thing because I was independent and I could easily do anything I wanted. But what was really good for me was that I really loved music, and that's why nobody told me to go and study or do something else. And I was practicing music, and that was really good for me. It benefited me.
Yeah, yeah. What was do you remember the first band you were in? The first time you actually played a gig or played with a band?
The first band ever that I got into was a band that I started in Athens when I was playing guitar, because when I was living in Thessaloniki, it's north of Greece. And it's a place where Marius is staying from Nitrate, Iliopoulos. And my parents broke up. I stayed for 3 years with my brother in Thessaloniki. And then we came down to Athens, in the capital of Greece. And that's when I really wanted to go into a music school. So I started as a guitar player. Guitar player, meaning that started with classical guitar. And then I started with electric guitar, which as I explained before, I really wanted to play some Testament and Metallica and Iced Earth riffs. In the first era of Iced Earth, the two first albums, I was really amazed by the right hand of this guy. And I tried to play as much as possible. So that was when I started also to make bands. And I made a band with the schoolmates. Uh, and I named this, I don't know, Metal Demonstration, I think it was. And then I made a band called Gazer. It was one of the first bands that I started playing guitar and singing. And, it was my first steps, let's say, with bands and stuff like that.
Yeah. When was your first, how long did it take you to get your first big break in music? Your first.
What do you mean big break? You mean
like when you became when you started to realize okay, I can make a living playing music. I can do this.
This is really difficult, and especially from the country that I come from, because Greece, especially back then, it was a place that if you would say to your friends, "Okay, I'm gonna make a living from heavy metal and from the extreme sound in general," they would make fun of you, and they were making fun of me, of course. You understand that, and they thought that I was crazy enough, and they were somehow making fun of me. They were good friends, but still making fun of me. But I set this goal as an only way. That was an only way for me to do it, because I didn't had anyone telling me what to do, anything else. So that's why I explained to you at first place that I was lucky enough to not have somebody, pushing me to be something else that I didn't wanted. So I really wanted to do something with music, and I thought that I was capable enough and maybe talented enough. I don't know if I was lying to myself or I was objective, but the thing is that I thought that this was the only way to do it. So I started focusing only on this. I was practicing like crazy without even noticing that I was practicing. What I mean is that I was spending so many hours practicing, but I didn't set the clock, from 10 until 10, and I said, okay, I'm gonna practice 12 hours, something like that. It just came naturally because that's what I loved a lot, and that's what was the only thing that I was doing, so I was as I told you, I was lucky enough to have this free time to spend it on this.
Yeah. So
and
when did
the big and let me come back to your question. The big breakthrough, let's say, it was when I was asked around 20 years old, 21, to join Septic Flesh, where I joined, and we then started around 2001 being together as a band and start touring. So around 21 years old, I started doing this and try to teach and make money out of from music, let's say. So I was teaching drums since I was 21. Really young teacher.
So what when did the switch happen for you when you realized you can play guitar and drums? You multi-talented.
That was the thing that I started making bands. So in my place, I bought shitty drums, but just to make rehearsals with my band back then when I was playing guitar and singing. So the thing is that having the drums in my place, I knew exactly what I had to do with the instrument. So when I was sitting on the drums, I immediately played. Immediately, there was no hesitation, no nothing, because I was so into the videos and watching, so many. There wasn't tutorials back then, but there was so many live gigs that I was watching, and I was observing what the drummer was doing, how you keep the rhythm, how your hands should be, your posture, everything, and I really focused on this instrument because it really got me. I was really into this instrument. So when I got into drums, I started and I played anything I wanted. Anything. I said, okay, this week I will try to play. It was back then with from Gripine Sea with Dave Lombardo, "Hostage to Heaven." If you know the song, it's super song, amazing, really fast also. And Dead Embryonic Cells from Sepultura, from the album Arise. And I really love the song, and I really love the speed. And I said, okay, I will make this song. I give myself a deadline, 5 days. So in 3 days, I already had it, because I put myself deadlines, and I'm like, I was really strict with myself. And basically the thing is that I tried, I really not didn't try that hard to play drums.
Yeah.
When I tried with guitar to play solos, I was really awful. Not good. In the rhythm guitars, I was good, but try to play solos like Malmsteen, no way, I wasn't good. But in the drums, it was like this, natural. It felt natural. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting the position in Septic Flesh? How did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them?
I think they came back from Studio Fredman when they record Sumerian Demons with the previous drummer, and they came back and they just wanted to change members. I think to change drummer, and they were seeking back then a drummer. But in Greece, it wasn't. No way back then. There was 3 or 4 drummers playing fast double bass and blast beats and stuff like that. So one of these guys, it was me, George Collas, and 3 more names that I can't recall right now. But they asked me if it's possible to play these songs. I played them. They came. They saw them, in my place where I had my drums, and we started playing together and started touring.
Yeah,
and that was it. It was easy for me.
Yeah, what was that like for you? Because I can imagine this would have been a very big step up in your music career, playing with this band, touring, doing amazing shows, albums. What was it like for you being exposed to that music industry on such a big scale?
You know something, I wasn't expecting to do these things. But as I told you in the beginning, I set this as my main goal, what I wanted to do. So it's the thing that, I didn't pay attention to what was happening. I was paying attention to what I was willing to do and what I wanted, to do for my own, just to be in a drum set, playing in front of people and sharing my music. That was it. I didn't want anything else. I promised that. Even if I was in the biggest band or not. The thing for me was that I really wanted to play music, this kind of music, and being out on the world, explore, show my music out there, and that was the thing. I wasn't fascinating, let's say, with this. Of course, the first tours, it was like, it's like going to Disneyland first time. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything was really heavenly and nice. Seeing sightseeings, doing tours with your friends. But after so many tours, you go in the same places and stuff like that. It's a part of of your, let's say, work. What you have to do, because you make an album, you go on tour, you have to be the best you can, because people would like to see you performing every night and giving even 100% of yourself. Of course, you understand that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do, and sometimes I was putting more of my body into the show, and I wasn't paying attention that much to be like a clinic, to play like a CD, and be just a cold guy, just performing, only not performing, just playing the songs like I'm on the studio and recording them. So that's what I think draw the attention, let's say, drum wise, and I had gained so many fans, because fans, they feel that, the energy when you are on the stage. I think that's what I believe. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But one question I have: when you were doing this, when you joined Septic Flesh, did all the touring, what did your brother end up doing with his life? What did he do?
What?
When you, your
What the
brother?
previous drummer?
No,
The
your
previous
brother.
drummer. My brother.
What did he do with his life? You became a musician. What did he do?
My brother, he is a musician, but he didn't do this as a profession. He's working in a bakery store, and he really loved this. He really liked to make breads and stuff like this, and candies. But he also loves music, of course, and he's a really talented musician. He plays in a band called Void Not. They're a really good band with modern sound. We still make albums together, of course, and enjoying music. But it's different. He chose the path of doing something else than music, because, of course, he was seeing that music is not an easy way to go and make a living from it. Because if you can understand, it's not easy to make only a living from a band. It's not that easy. You have to do similar stuff and things like that. Because when I started, it wasn't easy just to go on tour and get paid and have all of the year's my expenses and everything covered from this. You have to have social security. You have to have a lot of things to cover. So what I did was doing a lot of lessons, and then I opened a studio, which I really love to do, producing albums and doing mixing, mastering, recordings, and start giving advices to new musicians that they would like to being a part of this. And why not make an album, and why not do the same thing and go on tour and go and explore their musical journey and take it as far as it can go. And that was about it. Yeah. And that's how I did also the studio, Deva Sounds, which I'm right now.
Looks very nice. Very nice. So I noticed that you were part of some other projects, and I'd like to get information on them. The Devil Works. Can you talk to me about that?
Okay. Let me tell you about the Devil Works. So when I started with Septic Flesh in 2001, then we start touring and playing gigs here and there, especially in Greece. But around 2003 or 4, I think it was 2003. Yeah, I think it was when we broke up as Septic Flesh. We put them in a hiatus, and what we did is make another project called The Devil Works. That was a period where the guitarist Chris went to England, and he was working on a project about making music in a video game, I think. As I think, yeah. And Sotiris, the clean guy, the clean vocals guy, the guy who cleaned the clean vocals. Sorry about mumbling. He did. He couldn't follow. So the Devilworks was a project that started from the singers Spiros Adoniou and me. And the guitarist Chris, he was in the UK, and he was about to send some orchestral stuff, and so it was the three of us. And that was when we sent demos here and there, and we started have talks with labels. And the biggest name that we could I can mention right now about signing us, it was Roadrunner Records back then, that had Slipknot, Soulfly, Sepultura. They had Machine Head, and it was their pick back then. So we were really happy about bringing Devilworks in this and put them in this roster of such bands. So we had to take, let's say, an approval from the European part of Roadrunner Records, but this didn't happen, never. So what we do is send our demo to other labels, and we got an answer from a really cool label, but not that big back then. It was the Season of Mist record label. The French guy Michael Berberian, who is a really good friend and an amazing person. So what happened is that he suggested that he could release the album of The Devil Works, but he sent us a contract. But he made another proposal on top of that. He said to us that, you know something, I really liked Septic Flesh when I was listening to. I know they're not that big because Septic Flesh, until then, they had released albums through Holy Records that it was based in France. So they didn't had that big audience. They didn't had, they didn't attract that many people. So there was a lot of people listening to them, but underground, mostly in Greece and in France. So what was the proposal? Let's say it was about releasing the same exactly material. He wouldn't put anything, he wouldn't judge our music or anything, but he would give us more money as advance to to make an album as big as we can with the name Septic Flesh. So that's what we did back then, and we signed, the three of us, as Septic Flesh, and that's how we released Communion. It was an album that really took us into, let's say we got into, let's say, the metal scene with, really got for good, yeah. And that took us, into other places. We got into tours, and that's how it started, the whole thing. And then the next album and the next album, it brought, it was going up and up. Yeah. But it was then in 2004 that with Devilworks, there was, that I told you, the hiatus between Septic Flesh and Devilworks, when I found out that a band that is based in Göteborg was asking for a drummer. And that's when I met Mario Siliopoulos from Night Rage. So that was back then when I sent him a message, and I was like, I'm a drummer. I heard that you just stopped playing with your drummer, and that you are seeking for a person in to fill in. So I asked him if he would like to try me out and check my drumming skills in his genre. So I flew to Göteborg and to Sweden, and and we played with Marius, and it was, we shaked hands directly. It was just one song, and we were there. We understood that we could fit together just like that. So 2003, around there, 2003 to 2004, it was when we started, let's say, the pre-production of Descend into Chaos, the second album of Night Rage, and then we start, building it in the studio back then. And 2005 February it was released. So until today now, I'm gonna play with Marius after 20 years of this release. So it's it's really a sentimental thing. It's really great vibe. This after 20 years we're gonna play again together with Marius. I consider him as the best guitarist out there. I consider him as the best guitarist that I've ever played with. And it's a really honor for me to be in the same page with him.
He really is a great guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah. Not only a great guy, man, but this right hand. Yeah. It's like the hand from Adam's family. You cannot imagine. You cannot see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that I found interesting is something called Metal Against Coronavirus.
Yeah. Sure.
So what was that about? Yeah,
I think it was a project that I can't remember right now from who introduced me to. I'm not gonna, maybe I'm gonna lie, but I think Marius introduced me to these guys, and they really wanted me to play as a drummer and maybe sing. I don't remember what I did in this project, but I remember that we did a project all together for, to, let's say, reinforce a good cause. This was happened for a good cause, and that's what that was all about on the coronavirus, that everyone was locked back home and we couldn't do anything. So it was, let's say, music for to people, just to do it for free and help people out there.
Very cool. Did did the coronavirus affect you a lot in your career?
It only affected me on the shows that we couldn't do. The first show that we did during the coronavirus, and with people that got injected only, with that there was a limit on the club. It was with Nightfall, and it was really a real success.
Yeah.
And I thought that it would affect me, but no, because I had already many projects running at that period and the previous. So the first lockdown, because we had two lockdowns here, that, and the first one was like having a big break after so many gigs and so many hours of work in the studio. So the first one was really good for me, and to be honest, I really got uh, gain some powers back, because I was really tired from working day and night. The second one, and generally after, it was a little bit messy, and I felt weird. I didn't like it that much, because it was start, to be somehow a control of our lives, instead of, being something that is good for health. At least that's how I saw it. And I think that it affected many people. It affected mentally a lot. Many people, that they were going out every day and they could be, free, and they just had to stay back home. So it was really, weird period for many people.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we had lockdown in Australia.
I don't know how it was in Australia. Of course, you can tell me about it, but I don't know. You have
We
you
had stage
had
4
similar
lockdown.
stuff. Four
So
lockdowns.
no, stage 4. So we had very
Stage four.
very
Okay,
extreme. So we
okay,
couldn't leave. We had to have pass to go to work. We need to carry card, otherwise
okay.
police will
It
ask you
was
for your.
it was the same here as well. We had to text. If you wanted to go out just for a run, you should send a text, or if you wanted to visit your parents, or a person that needed help, you should text as well. So yeah, we needed permission to go out. Yeah, even
Yeah,
to breathe. Yeah, so it was a little bit tricky and weird. Anyways, I think I hope this will stay behind, and we're not gonna have ever again this, especially for our kids. Yeah,
yes, hopefully not. Hopefully it's
yeah,
all done.
yeah, yeah,
As you mentioned a bit earlier, and that's how and the reason why I wanted to contact you. You're back with Night Rage, as you just said. You just said that a few
yeah.
minutes ago. So tell me about that. Like, why after 20 years, why now are you making this step back?
I will explain directly. It's all because of this. The new album. And the thing is that with Marius, we're really good friends all these years, and especially this last album, we worked it together. As I told you before, as a producer and sound engineer, I produce a lot of bands. I produce Suicidal Angels, Rotting Christ, Sakistolis, and that's when I talked with Marius, and I asked him, okay, you know something? Every time you record an album, you go outside and you mix it, abroad in a really famous and really nice, well-known producers. Would you like to try it together and do together from the start? Let's do the pre-production. Let's do the recording, the mixing, the mastering, everything here. Let's say, and make this product come out from here. So what we did is make a pre-production together, work on the songs. He was listening to me in every tip that I would say. He had so many ideas. Magnus, his other guitarist, brought so many ideas on the table, and it was a chemistry that I cannot describe. And this band, until now, it's one of the best bands that I ever recorded in the studio. These bands are really capable musicians, and not only songwriting wise, but also skill wise. So what I loved about this album is making this album. So I was making this album, and I really loved the songs from day one. And I was like, oh, I love this album. So we were recording the next album. Oh, I love this album. And I was loving this album. It's like you have your kids and you cannot separate which one you love the most. So when it finished the album and I delivered it, I couldn't tell which song I love the most. There are 4 or 5 my favorites, and I cannot, say which one I love the most. And the thing is that Marius, he had his drummer right now. He couldn't continue being with the band for personal reasons, and he said that he will stop playing with Nitrate. So when Marius asked me, because he knows that I have many people in the studio coming in and out, and I know many drummers since I teach as well. And he asked me, "Do you have any drummer that he could learn the songs and come with play with us in Japan and Korea? Because we have 3 shows coming out, and it's on October." So I'm like, "I can play. I know the songs off by heart. I know the new album. I know the 2 first. I know the third album because it was in the making of when we were playing together. So I know 4 of your albums already. So the songs of your set list, I know them. So if I learn 2 or 3 songs more, it's nothing for me. It's okay. I can come and play, and I can help you." So when we said about this, it was Marius really got happy, and he was like, "I would love you to, if you could play, it's really nice. I would love you, if you could play even in the album, because you know the songs really well, and you suggested things that it was also some drum arrangements that it helped develop the songs even better." So I'm like, "Okay, we can make also the next album together if you want. I can play on the albums." So I told him, "Okay, something. I play with Nightfall, I play with SAGAS, and I can play with Nitrous. There's no problem. Since we can work things out about the touring schedule and stuff like that, I can be a part of Nitrous if you want." I told him, and he was really, really happy because, having also the new lead singer, Konstantinos Togas, I really like the way that Nitrate sounds right now. It's kind of the music that I really like to listen to while being on tours or traveling in general, or listening to my car. It's the music that I would listen to. So why not play the music that I listen to?
Yes.
So I think bringing this energy in the table and bringing Nitrates where they should belong, it's my goal, and I think that since there's no problem with the other bands and the endeavors that I'm into, I think we can make something really, really big with Nitrates as well.
Yeah. I'm very excited that you're part of it again. I'm very excited to hear what
Yeah,
comes
me too,
next.
man. Me too. I cannot wait to play the first gig with Marius after so many years. It will be great. We played together a song in with Elysian when they played here in Greece, in Athens, and also with Sakis Tolis. We played Rotting Christ cover. We played Non Serbian, and Marius was playing guitars and I was playing drums. So it was, it was a good thing. One of the great moments that I had with Marius recently.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I can't wait to hear what comes next. I can't wait to hear your guys' career going forward. It's going to be an exciting moment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, look, I talked about your career. I talked about you. We talked about your life, your career. Your projects going forward. Do you have anything you want to tell us, or anything you want to shout out on the podcast? Anything at all? Anything you want to?
I would like to say that I think let me check something just to be sure about this that I'm gonna mention. Sorry about this.
No, take it time.
Because I really don't want to misspell it. Yeah. I think we're planning after the Korean shows, because in October, late October, we're gonna be in Japan, and we're gonna play in Korea. And after this, we're planning maybe to come to Australia, pay a visit with Nitrates. Why not? And right now we are working with Merch Raven, which they took a handle of our merch, and they start having merch in Australia. So it will be a great thing, man, to come and visit Australia. And why not meet in person with you?
I would love that.
That would be
I would
great.
love to. I told Mario that when he was on my podcast as well. I'd love to meet him. I'd love to meet you guys, the whole band in person. If you come to Melbourne, man. that's my state, Melbourne. come here, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna have a good time. And I am a sushi chef, so I can bring you sushi.
Oh, this is good, man. This is good.
So,
And we can compare it if it's close to Japan.
yes, yeah, we'll see.
It's close to the
You'll post
Japanese
it.
shows. Yeah.
Nice.
Ah,
That'll be
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, man. Really looking forward to.
Yeah, well, the closer it gets to Australia, hit me up, let me know, and I'll be definitely keen to go.
Great. We're looking
Yeah.
forward to. We're discussing about this right now, but it's not confirmed anything yet. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's on the table. That's what I'm saying.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can come. It'll be on my wish list.
Ah, nice.
Look, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you,
on,
man.
and this will be
Thank you,
uploaded
man.
soon.
Great.
Look, thank you again, and I'll definitely be talking to you in the future.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Stay
Have
in
a
touch,
good one.
okay? Take care, man.